Welcome back to Cryptic Corner, a place where we read, review, and watch scary stuff from the internet. I'm still trying to work on that intro. And today we are coming at you with a movie review. Me and Jared got together this Friday, actually, and took a look at Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey Part 1. And I think we have a few things to say about the movie. Overall, before we get into the actual review, what personal score do you give the movie?
Ooh, are we just gonna rate it right away?
Well, we can rate it like right now, and then maybe our ratings will change as we like go over our notes, because we did take notes during the movie.
Yeah, and you can explain your reasoning, and maybe we'll influence each other. I like that idea. Honestly, I'll probably give it a probably a 3 out of 10.
3 out of 10. That's pretty low. But yeah, mine's probably gonna be somewhere in the same vicinity. Maybe like 3.5 to 4. I wouldn't really call it a horror movie. It was pretty funny at parts, but most of it was kind of pathetic.
The thing is, my philosophy is like, okay, I did find some of it a little bit funny, but I also found it kind of boring, and that was with alcohol.
Yeah, true. We did have a few drinks while we watched this movie, so I'm wondering how coherent my notes are, because I took quite a bit of notes.
Yeah, I took about
throughout the movie.
Pages.
I guess we could start off with like the very beginning of the movie. At the very beginning of the movie, we see Christopher Robin, good old Chris, taking his girl through the forest or through the 100-acre woods.
Well, actually, there's a thing before that where it's a little anime thing.
Oh yeah, a little animated beginning.
Yeah, it's a big exposition dump.
Gotta love those expo dumps. Yeah, I completely forgot about that part.
Yeah, and it's like, you know, like, oh, Chris, you know, visited Winnie the Pooh and stuff, or, you know, and there's like, and then one time he didn't, and then they got hungry and ate Eeyore, and now they took a vow of silence.
They fucking ate Eeyore.
I mean, it makes sense. I mean, he was kind of chunky.
No, in the animation, he was skin and bones.
Yeah, I don't know why the animation was skin and bones too, but like, you know, it's still pretty silly.
I mean,
I guess because of like one harsh winter that they, you know, I guess because that they hate all humans now, which kind of doesn't make sense because
it really doesn't. I thought the whole concept was kind of goofy.
Yeah, it's like, okay, how did they survive before Christopher came?
Yeah. You know, it's like,
sure it was like that bad anyways, who wouldn't be able to get there in the first place because of the remote location.
Yeah.
Kind of dumb.
Yeah, the whole movie was just all over the place. We didn't really get to look into most of the characters. Like, we didn't get to like build up a relationship with the characters like most movies do. Also, Christopher Robinson. Christopher Robinson is he's a bitch. Actual. Okay.
We can talk about that more later.
Well, we're kind of getting up close to it. So they eat Eeyore, and now they took a vow of silence, and then we get to the part where what's up?
Another prologue. They have another prologue, which is weird too, because Christopher Robin isn't even really the main character.
No, he's not. Which you'd think if it was a Winnie the Pooh horror movie, then Christopher Robin would be the horror movie, would be like the main antagonist or the main character.
Yeah.
I say antagonist, I meant like protagonist or something.
After the exposition dump prologue, there's another prologue where it's Christopher Robin and his fiance going to the woods to visit Winnie the Pooh and friends.
I'm gonna quickly look up who played her, because I have some things to say about the dress set. So like the wardrobe and everything.
They did her dirty. She looked, I don't know what if it was the lighting or what, but she didn't look healthy. I don't know what about it. That's just me.
And I mean, they made her look like a crackhead.
Yeah.
Okay, so I need to see the cast. Paula Coys was Mary, Christopher Robin's a fiance. She looked like a crackhead off the street. Like
she did look unhealthy.
She looked really skinny, really unhealthy. Maybe it was the makeup. I mean,
I think it's probably that or the lighting.
Yeah, it might have been the lighting. They were in an actual forest. We'll talk more about that later too. They didn't really have much to say, which I mean, kind of sucks.
She kind of existed to be axed.
Yeah, cause like she's played. I guess she's played in a lot of other horror movies. So she's played in.
Honest, she was completely like not like she was not neat at all. If she was not in the movie, nothing would change. Nothing.
Yeah, which sucks because she's played in a bunch of other horror movies, which some of them did poorly. One of them did really well. One of the other movies she played did really well. Sons of the Force. I don't know if that's a horror movie or not, but
that's a game.
Is it actually? No, it's not.
We played that.
No, Sons of the Force, not Forest. Force.
Oh. Never mind.
It's a 33-minute sci-fi short. Did really well.
Oh.
Did really well.
That's cool.
And if you guys are wondering where I'm getting this information, it's IMDb.
I'm sure she's a lovely lady. You know.
Of course. I'm sure that she is a wonderful actress, but she was done a wee bit dirty in Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey.
All right, let's move on. So,
I have a few more things to say about like the beginning of the movie.
I do too.
They didn't really hide their fog guy very well. I have a
kind of silly.
There was this one part of the movie where they're walking through the 100-acre woods to get to the encampment where Winnie and all of those other guys are. And they didn't even have the rest of the Pooh gang, is what I call them. They only had Piglet and Winnie.
Yeah, where's the rabbit? Rabbit and the owl and Tigger.
Well, Tigger is in number 2, but we have yet to watch Winnie the Pooh Part 2.
Spoilers, man.
He's literally in the trailer. It's not spoilers.
Dude, a lot of trailers are really bad with spoiling stuff, though.
True. That's why you try not to watch them.
I know. Sometimes the trailers are just like, here's the entire plot of our movie. It's like, cool. Thanks for showing me the twist in the trailer. But another thing that I wanted to say is I remember when they got to the encampment, for a reason Chris was just like, oh, something's changed.
Oh, no shit.
But he never explains, like, what.
Oh,
at least what I remember. It's just like, something's changed, and it's never brought up again.
Yeah, I didn't really catch that. I was kind of eyeballing, like, the set and everything. It all looked
pretty cool. I thought it looked pretty cool, like, you know, place it. I remember.
Go ahead.
I remember, like, later on, like, we saw some trailers, like, pop in. It felt like
that's.
Like,
I was going to bring that up. They had these weird, cheap ass camping trailers. Like, they're really short, the really small ones, just kind of like sit around. Which was like, these weren't there before, but then they had that really fast night swap, which before it changes to night, right, you can see that they are there before that change happens, and they weren't there before if anyone watches the movie, which I think we're nitpicking a little too hard at that. I mean, I certainly can't do a better job than what they did, but I sure can critique, and critique I will.
Yep.
Because to call this a horror movie is kind of silly. It wasn't really scary.
It's not very scary at all.
The costume designs were wild though.
I thought Winnie looked pretty interesting. I mean, I feel like it's kind of hard to turn Winnie the fucking Pooh into like a horror character. So I'll give them kudos for that. But yeah, I feel like they did a decent job.
Yeah, I mean, at least like make the mask a little more animated and lifelike instead of like a cheap animatronic mask. I mean, his ears and shit, his mouth and ears and stuff, they did move around a little bit. Like you can see him smiling and frowning. You can kind of see his ears wiggling back and forth, and then he cries, "Honey."
Oh yeah.
Which
fucking Jules honey.
Yeah, it just rules, honey.
Bleeds honey. I guess he's made of honey out in this universe.
I think they're trying to add a supernatural aspect to it. Because
I mean, Winnie the Pooh himself is kind of not normal, so.
Well, he has his own swarm of bees.
Yeah, that was weird. That's
he controls his.
Nowhere.
Yeah, he controls his own swarm of bees.
And the thing is, that didn't get brought up until, like, it wasn't set up like until like near the end of the movie, and then it's like it kills one guy, and then they're just gone.
Well, they show it a couple of times through the movie. So like when I think there was like a scene where he's like standing there in the middle of the field, and all of a sudden like you hear this badass music, and then like the bees come in or whatever, and no one addresses it. She wasn't like, oh, he's got a pack of bees that follow him around. You might want to be careful, or else he's gonna stick his bees on you.
I find movies don't directly address that, as long as they show it. You know, show don't tell.
Yeah.
So I think, you know, that's okay. Thing that I thought was kind of funny is like when they win the trailer and they're like, you know, they walk into like who's like treehouse, I think. And
yeah.
Look at a piece of paper and there's like, oh no. And I don't think they ever show it.
Yeah. Well, no, they never showed it. So they picked. So they walk into the trailer and Mary, Christopher Robin's wife, was like, "Oh no, is this you?" Well, we're getting there. I'm jumping too far ahead. Okay. She picks up a photo and she's like, "Oh my God, is this you?" And he's like, "This isn't normal." And I wish they would have showed what was on the photo. I think that really would have been like, oh wow, something actually went wrong here. Instead, we're left to our own devices and our own imagination, which.
Yeah, well, it'd been also interesting if they did that originally, but then they like showed it later on, maybe near the midway point of the movie, or maybe the end. You know. Yeah,
maybe like.
That's a bit more mystique, but you know, solve. I'm fine with a bit of mystique. You know, the original Alien movie did. It's like, where did the ship come from? Why they're eggs? Stuff like that. You know.
Yeah. Who played the main character? I believe it was Mariah Taylor. Or there was a lot of people that that were introduced, and they never really went into their backstory. Well, which kind of sucks.
But anyways, after they look at the piece of paper, they hear something nearby approaching, and they go to hide. Chris is actually kind of smart and hides under the bed, while his girlfriend hides behind like the.
She literally hides like behind she hides at the foot of the bed.
Yeah, I didn't know the correct word for it, like the headboard of the bed. Yeah.
Which is like, okay, one, how would you not see her there? And two, why would you hide there? That is the worst hiding spot you could ever pick. There could be like a closet or something. Yeah, Chris had room.
Also, it's like, you know, it's kind of like the whole like Titanic, you know, situation where it's like, no, Jack can fit on there with you.
Yeah, he could totally sit. He could totally sit up. Sorry, excuse me. He can totally sit on the side of the board. But like,
It's like same situation.
I want to know how I wanted to know how they got out of there, because I think it would have been more suspenseful if they showed Chris and Mary escaping the house, and
Yeah, you just put one to
then
them like outside.
yeah, they kind of just like cut to them outside,
They
shutting the gate. Mind you, I wouldn't have shut the gate. I would have just left.
I mean, they could have added a lot of suspense to a scene where it's them trying to get out of there with Pooh still in there.
Yeah.
That'd been really interesting. You know, maybe he's at his desk writing something, or maybe he's on his bed napping. You know, it's like, oh shit, Pooh's right on top of Chris. How the hell is he gonna get out of here?
Yeah,
Start
and
waking
then
up.
it shows Chris like slowly making his way out from under the bed. That's how
Yeah.
you can build suspense.
Yeah, that's how you build suspense. And maybe as he moves, the floorboard creaks and.
And then Pooh
disturb it.
kind of. I think they tried to do that a couple times because they panned over to what I'm assuming is Pooh on the bed. If not, because like on this list that I'm seeing, there's no other.
It was too quick.
Well, yeah, I was going to say if they're doing that, then it was way too fast. Because I'm also looking on here. It doesn't show any other of the Pooh gang. It only has Piglet and it
it's
only
just
has Winnie the Pooh.
It's
And
just Pooh there, but also
maybe it might have been Piglet on the bed because they were wearing black clothing. But other than that, I don't really know. I mean, they could have done so much with that scene and just made it much
could've done a
more
lot more.
suspenseful. But they didn't. They just kind of were like, oh, we probably don't have the budget for this, or we just don't want to, film this. It kind of felt a little lazy.
yeah.
And then we cut to them leaving like the woods, and then they get cornered. They get cornered by
Pooh.
Winnie the Pooh and Piglet. And Chris just sits there and
Yeah, his girlfriend
cries
gets-
as his.
As his girlfriend gets, not girlfriend, his fiance gets choked out.
Not even that, but like, doesn't she get stabbed multiple times? Right?
Something like that.
Yeah, she just basically gets mauled by Winnie and Piglet, and he's just sitting
And
there
Chris is just
crying.
standing there, like, being like, no. He's just standing there, like, no, stop it, that's mean, no.
No, stop, Pooh, this isn't you, stop, please, I love her, please, stop.
Yeah, and then, like, he just basically telling, like, Pooh, that's mean. Think of the feelings, that would hurt her.
This isn't you, Pooh, remember who you were before. And then, I think they knocked out Chris, and they just, like, take him. They eat his wife, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Little spoiler alert. She gets
That's another thing,
eaten.
too, is when he tried crying there, it was, or was it later on?
I think it was throughout. He really needs to work on his acting. I mean, I know it's hard to fake cry, and I can't act for shit, right? But I mean,
Yeah, but,
you gotta work. He gotta work on that, dude. It kind of sounded like he was like, "Oh, stop."
Yeah.
He was trying to force it out.
Yeah, it was kind of, I didn't buy his crying that much,
Then again, I mean, let me see really quick. We should have done a little more research on the movie before we started, but it's fine.
Also, another thing that I have, another thing too is that, what is it? I think, yeah, I put down for some reason he knows why they hate him. Because I think he was like, oh yeah, he was like, I'm sorry, Pooh, I'm sorry. Because, like, for what reason he just assumed why, like, why they hated him.
I think he knew why they were upset.
I guess, yeah. But, like, why would they hate him? Like, why would he go there then? If he knew they'd hate him.
Yeah, so what I was looking up was I was looking up how much what the budget was for the movie, And you know, we have to give him some leeway, right? Because the budget of the movie was 50,000.
Oh,
Yeah, and it grossed 5.2 million.
you know,
So-
that's a lot of money.
Yeah, it is a lot of money. It's shit ton, and I'm surprised that it made that much despite how bad it was. But they made a profit. They made a profit.
Yeah.
The budget for number 2 was 500K, but I don't think it made that much.
Oh,
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
So,
don't think they. I don't
think-
think it made that much, but it apparently is a lot better than number 1.
Okay. Well, that's how it kind of goes, unfortunately. I mean, I'm thinking of the movie Solo, where the movie before that was episode 8, which everyone hated. And then Solo came out, and because of episode 8, people were just like, no. Episode 8 was bad, and they just skipped over, even though Solo was better than that. I
Yeah,
heard Solo's pretty okay.
it's
Yeah.
kind of like that mentality
absolutely
where it's
bombed.
like, it's that mentality where it's like if you hate one thing, you're gonna hate the other that's related to it.
Well, it's
you're
more like
gonna hate
you-
just to hate it.
Well, no, it's one of those things where like you look back on your past experience or something. It's like, okay, the first one sucked, so I'm assuming the second one's gonna be similar quality.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
guess that works too.
We do it all the time. You know, like for example, let's say you go to a new restaurant that you've never been before, and the food they just don't cook it right and whatnot. It's like, are you gonna go there again? Probably not.
No.
Exactly.
Another good example of that would be World of Warcraft. You know, you get some hit or misses, but you always expect them to be shit because of the the poor quality they put into the other expansions.
Yeah.
Let's
I
see.
think was it when Frisk died or Fiance? They did the weird animation thing.
What's up?
Remember how when one of them died, well, one of them quote unquote died, they did the weird animation? Was it Chris or his fiance?
I believe his fiance was the one who died, and they did that weird animation for her.
Yeah, they did like a weird animation, like the prologue, and it never comes up again.
Yeah, and like,
They just, it's like, why did you have that?
yeah, I don't understand it.
It's like a weird, like, artistic choice that they do once and they don't commit to.
Yeah. I don't quite understand what they're going for there.
I don't. It kind of just feels out of place.
So yeah, the murder and kidnapping is on the news, and then we cut
Yeah.
to
We have
our
the-
main characters, or
Yeah,
well,
the
main
second
character.
prologue's- The second prologue's over, yeah.
Yeah, and then we get another expo dump.
Yeah, we get another expo dump, and it's like, oh, she's talking to a therapist, and her therapist's like, oh, just go out to the woods or something like that, where there's a bunch of murders happening.
Well, so she had some very bad things happen to her. So she was.
We don't know at this point.
We don't exactly know what happened to her. They didn't bother telling us, so we couldn't relate to this character. But
This added a little bit of mystique to the story and quote-unquote character development.
well, they got to work on their character development.
Well, that's what I mean. It's not really character development. It's just trying to add depth to the character and be like, oh, we don't know something about this character, a bit of mystique to them,
Yeah. So we get our main character. I think it was Mariah Taylor who is the main character in yeah, it is Mariah. It is Mariah Taylor, who is the main character in Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, and she is recommended from her therapist, who is played by Gillian Broderick. She is recommended to go take a vacation and get away from stress. So she takes her friends, Jessica, Alice, Laura, Zoe, and Tina, with Charlene. Or I don't think she made it. One of the two, one of them didn't make it. And we'll get to that in a second. So,
Okay. I'm trying.
This is where
Oh.
this is like
Remember
the
now.
first. This is like one of the first gripes I had with the movie, which was the old gas station scene.
Yeah, it's like a clearly abandoned gas station.
They had
The
they had
pumps
a
look decrepit as shit.
yeah they had like um decaying gas pumps and everything. Old, but the place basically looked abandoned. But then in the background, you see like relatively like new cars. Like
Yeah.
you see like a Range Rover or a GMC in the background, and then you got this like relatively new looking car up front. I think it might be a Subaru or it might be a Chevy. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, but it looks like it's like from like 2005, and it's not in bad condition.
Yeah, yeah. And then she goes in and she's looking around. She's like, "Hello,
I have a thing
hello."
about that. Right? There's like a part where she like looks right at the camera, and it's really kind of like pulled me out of the mood. Where she's like looks at the camera, is like, I don't think there's anyone here.
Yeah.
You know, that's how it felt like. You know, I don't think there's anyone here.
She
Wink, wink.
doesn't look directly
she's-
at it. It looks like
Almost.
she's reading at her. It looks like she's looking at her keyboard or something like that. It looks like she's reading it.
Of a teleprompter.
Yeah, off a teleprompter. So like
Yeah,
she's
and she
looking
looks
right
super
above the
small.
camera.
Yeah. And then right after, she's like jump scared.
Yeah, and then he's like, "Oh, I'm
Not a good one.
sorry, I didn't hear you." When there was absolutely no noise going on in the building at all whatsoever.
Oh yeah. Fucking her voice is bouncing off the walls, and she said that
Yeah.
like 10 times.
Yeah, and this dude comes out. I think it was Jace Rivers who played John, and he was
The other guy's
the
name, but yeah, he just goes up to her and is like, "Oh yeah, the pumps don't work. Just go down farther."
you know, she was like, "Do the pumps work here?" As they're clearly decayed and decrepit, and he's like,
He's
"No,
like-
he was even like, you've seen the pumps? They don't fucking work." So I
Maybe
mean,
it's character developed to show that she's dumb.
oh well, they're all dumb. Like,
They're all very dumb. Anyway. So they, you know, just like, oh yeah, her friends honk at her right after, being like, "Hey," you know, like they're honking at her to get out, and she like less than like a second later, fucking her friends jump scare her at the door. It's like, okay, man, they
yeah,
like, I guess they honked the horn and all got out. Like,
yeah.
2 seconds later,
I
just-
was sitting there. I was like, "That's kind of fast to get out of your car like that, dude." I don't understand.
Yeah.
Yeah, so after that, they get to the building. They get to their house that they're staying at. Nice house, to be honest.
Yeah, very nice Airbnb. And I'll say they set up something kind of okay here, where they do like a weird cell phone confiscation thing, like one of the ladies.
Yeah.
She, like has, I think it's a nerdy looking girl with glasses.
I believe
You
that
know,
is Natasha Rose Mills, who played the character Jessica. I have the cast like pulled up on my screen.
Okay, you're gonna be the guy who does that. Anyways, she takes the cell phones, and I remember another character is like, "Oh, there's no reception out here." You
What?
know,
Really?
Okay. Oh, you know that is that other chick. I'm a bit ahead of myself.
Oh yeah, so there was a lot of
They set up that you know character taking the cell phones. So I was like, okay. So they were explaining why the characters don't have phones on them.
yeah.
Supposedly.
I believe Amber Doigthorn, who played Alice, who was the OnlyFans model.
Yeah.
That was the only way to describe her. That's how she acted in the entire movie. I think she was the one who said that. I may be wrong, but
No,
she
it's a different character, I think.
it was one of the two.
No, I remember.
Danielle,
I remember now.
Danielle, Ronald, and May Kelly. They're not showing up on here. They don't have like their profile pictures or not, so I don't know who both of these played, but one of them played Zoni and the other played Tina.
That tells you like the characterization, how good it was.
I think these were the lesbian couple.
There's a lesbian couple.
Yeah, yeah, there was a lesbian couple. It was that pool scene where she kind of just sat in the water and screamed, "No, don't hurt her."
Oh yeah, that's later on. But I think after that it cuts away to one of the characters the only character who's meeting up in a different vehicle.
Oh,
Okay.
Yeah, that might have been.
I
Let
also
me
want to say
see.
real quick. I forgot to say this at the time, but that gas station scene, I think that was also completely unnecessary. You could cut that out the movie, would have been the exact same.
Oh yeah, it would have been
It was just slow.
better. Hold on, let me look up Daniela Ronald.
I'll explain the scene. Anyways, one of the characters is driving by himself, and they manage to get lost. And she stops at like a.
Okay, yeah, so she was one of the lesbian couples. So Daniela Ronald was the chick in the pool screaming at Winnie or Piglet to stop. And then let me look at May Kelly.
Okay, but anyways, she pulls over, and she gets a phone. It's like tries calling someone, has no reception. So she's like, "I'm gonna walk deeper into the woods." Like,
Okay, yeah, so that was May Kelly. So I'm guessing the other lady that's not showing up, well, I guess it'd be Danielle Scout. Hold on. Yeah, it is Danielle Scout. That's probably the other lady. I don't know. None of these people like match who was on the movie. Like, they don't look like the people who were on the movie. But okay. I got this wrong. Let me go back. Danielle Scott was the lady who played Charlotte, and she was the one who was all beat up and bloody at the end of the movie.
Oh yeah, we'll get to that.
I think she was the one who walked deeper into the woods as well.
No, so the one who so that one character, I don't know any of their fucking names.
Is this the full cast?
But anyways, she starts walking deeper in the woods, trying to get reception for whatever reason, and eventually, she finds, Pooh behind her, if I remember, and he starts chasing her, and the movie starts doing really bad shaky cam as she does her like weird slow run, like deliberately slow goofy run. Remember that?
Yeah, I remember that. She like kind of just waddles away.
Yeah, well, she like almost runs in place. Like I do that with my dog while I'm at the park.
And she goes into she runs to this warehouse.
It looks like a sawmill warehouse, yeah, and she like goes under like
like a lumber mill.
Kind of like a garage door, yeah, like a lumber mill, and she managed to get under this like kind of like a garage door.
Yeah, and she doesn't bother closing it either, which, I mean, I would have tried to close it, but that's just me.
Yeah. Who immediately, like, goes in after her, and another weird thing that happens is the first thing that Pooh does is that he grabs her shirt and rips it off. And there her bare chest.
Oh yeah, no, fucking,
I don't know.
Fucking tits out flailing and shit.
Yeah, for whatever reason she wasn't wearing a bra. I don't know why. Well, actually, I think I do.
Yeah, I don't know who played her. I'm gonna be real. I really don't know who played her, because it's not... The cast is on here, but I don't see her anywhere.
But, yeah, after that, he, like... I forgot how he beats her up. But I know it basically ends with her.
He basically slams her head into the grinder.
Oh. Yeah. I think he pimp slapped her, didn't he?
Maybe?
Was that another character?
Let me look. Hold on, let me pull this up. Oh, it was Tina. Tina died. He face smashed her repeatedly against the side of a wood chipper and who shoved her inside of it.
Yeah, and then I don't know why they had this because it looks so awful, but they had CGI blood coming out.
Oh yeah, it was horrible CGI blood coming out of the other end.
It reminds me of like mid 2000, like early 2000s CGI from like a B movie. I remember seeing the movie Holes when I was younger, and it reminded me of that, where it's just really awful, like slow animation CGI.
Okay.
It kind of looked, I'd say the CGI kind of almost looked like from like a PS like 2 or 3 game.
Let me see if I can try and find the actual cast for the people. Go ahead and continue with your notes. So I'm looking this up. That way we don't have errors. We don't have any silent in here.
Yeah. I'm just looking.
Okay, cool. So I basically have the entire cast pulled up here.
Okay. I think the scene after that was that the.
All right. Wait.
Okay, then it cuts back to the house, but it's another goofy scene where it's just a chick on her bed, and it's like, oh, she has her phone. How'd she get it? We don't know.
Well, no. It showed her taking her phone from the drawer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it showed her taking. It showed Amber, who played Alice. She took the phone from the drawer, and she went out to the hot tub. And
Well,
I believe
before that, she's like in her room taking like photos, toying in a bikini, like in a bra.
Oh yeah, she was basically doing OnlyFans.
Yeah, and it very much felt like the scene was there, but like, hey, look, tits, pay attention, tits.
Yeah, you know? I find like I kind of find it cheap to do that, but
yeah, I find because it doesn't really add characterization to her. It just feels like it's there for like just fan service or like just date.
it's just like, oh, she does OnlyFans, cool, great.
Yeah. After that, we get the other characters. They're around a table.
Oh, yeah, they're all having like it was a very touching moment, to be honest. Like, oh, like we can see that all of these characters can rely on each other. We find out that, she was we find out that the main character what the fuck was her name again?
I don't remember her name. But
Oh, let me find it.
We get a flashback where we get a flashback where she's basically like, oh, I was stalked, and then a guy tried sexually assaulting her in her own home. Which
He came in. He came in. He tried to do some very bad things.
Yeah.
And she's scarred from it. Now we can people can kind of relate to the character.
Well,
it's like, oh, this is horrible.
So that's why she's, scared. Okay, that explains it. And that's about the only development she gets throughout the entire story, is that we learn that she's scared because of that.
Yeah. 1 second. Keep going, by the way.
She was sexually assaulted. Nearly. I think after that, doesn't it cut to Pooh and Piglet?
Yeah, so
and
I'm just trying to get these characters straight, because they barely introduce the characters at all. We kind of just
a lot of them feel like just bodies, just
yeah.
There's not really any characterization. Like, honestly, for me, like, by the time these characters about to die, you don't know their name.
Yeah, like this is why I'm like trying to look up who's the main character and everything.
You know the character's name when you hear someone else screaming at them when they're dying.
I was just about to say that they don't introduce nobody. They just kind of show them, and then when the person's dying, like, oh my God, Jessica, no.
It's like, oh, that's her name, Jessica. Oh, she's dead.
So like, oh, yeah, I can't really. you know, I can't really, you know, get attached to that character, or like, you know, get to know that character. It's just, it was just so all over the place. This is why I'm trying to find the main character and looking up characters and casts and shit. It's because I'm confused trying to like, you know, just like get it all together.
Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly.
Anyways, I think it cuts to Pooh and Piglet, and we find out that Christopher is still alive after 5 years.
Oh yeah. So after 5 years, not malnourished or anything. Has it been 5 years? Wasn't a 5 year jump?
It was either a 5 year jump between you last saw him in the very beginning or then. So
hold on. And honey.
Anyways,
I don't
we cut to
think
we cut to Winnie the Pooh eating I think he's eating a bit of a long pork. It's called that. And we see a boneless person, and there's a scene where it shows him.
Okay, so
Pooh tortured. Oh.
So you're right about the 5 years, but Chris left the Winnie the Pooh and his friends, and came back 5 years later as an adult from college. I think he's only been missing in this for a couple of months.
Oh, okay, never mind then.
It never actually specifies that, you know, how it never actually specifies how long he's been gone, but it was long enough for him to grow a beard.
Yeah, so let's say at least 2 months.
And you were right. Piglet does strangle Mary to death before him and Pooh drag Chris into the woods.
Yeah, and anyways, we cut to a scene where we find out that Chris is still alive, and Pooh's like torturing him, you know, in different ways with his fiance. I think the like skeleton of her.
Yeah.
And,
so
like,
funny enough.
And what does he think is like Chris has been like, I love you still, Pooh, Pooh, you know.
Funny enough, right? As you know, as Chris is being tortured, and Pooh has that flashback. You know when we
we had another flashback.
You know when we thought that was just like hair Pooh's collected from his victims. I'm on the wiki.org, and you'll never believe what that thing is that he's whipping Robin with.
Oh yeah, we thought it was hair.
Yeah, it's actually Eeyore's tail. He whips him. He whips him with Eeyore's tail and then showers him with Mary's blood. Which, if it was executed properly and done a whole lot better than it was, granted the budget of the movie was $50K, it would have been so much more impactful.
Well, the thing is, the thing with Eeyore's hair was so goofy because it like gave him massive fucking scars on his back when it's fucking hair and it's dry hair. It's not like it's wet or anything. It's just dry hair.
It's meant to look like, you know, he's whipping him really hard. Plus, like,
what's fucking hair? Well, it doesn't matter how hard you hit him with it. It's hair.
Well, let me finish. In the cartoon, right? Eeyore has like a nail that is like pushed into his backside, but it keeps falling out, and he keeps losing his tail. So that's probably what was causing the scratches on his back, was that nail that was, you know, getting whipped into his back. Well, I mean, I don't think we were going to see it, but it was probably implied. Well, yeah, it is goofy. It is a goofy scene.
I'll be honest, like, fucking in real life, have you ever like had someone like twist up a towel and get wet and smack you with it?
Yeah, I hate that.
That would hurt more. That would hurt more.
Yeah, what else happens? So I have the wiki pulled up that basically has like the synopsis of it.
Okay, and I think after that in the backstory, Winnie the Pooh cries honey tears.
Oh yeah, he starts crying honey tears, and then we kind of like glimpse over to the OnlyFans model, like in a hot tub. right?
Yeah, she's doing a hot tub stream.
She's doing like a hot tub photo shoot for Twitch, and we see
she's like playing pop music, and then she's doing it for a minute, and then we see the silhouette of Pooh in the background. Like, oh no.
we get Pooh in the background. He's just sitting there menacingly, and she's like, "What the fuck?" And instead of going in like a normal person would, she kind of just sits out there, and
well, she just goes, "Hello."
All the characters really like using the word hello in this movie. And
she says hello twice and then just shrugs her shoulders and just goes back in the hot tub.
Yeah, I'm gonna pause it real quick because I really gotta go do my laundry. I'm back from doing laundry.
Right.
Now, where are we?
She's done. Let me find out. Where are you? She was taking the bath.
Oh yeah, the hot tub bath pictures.
Yeah.
So she's taking those, and she catches Winnie like right behind her.
Yeah.
And yeah, she basically was like, hello, anyone there? And she was like, oh fuck this, and she gets back in the hot tub. She gets back
seemed,
in
like,
it.
Concerned with like when she saw Pooh at first, like what? She's like, who is that?
Yeah, and then
she just like can't be bothered to care and just got back in.
Yeah, she got back in, continued like taking pictures, and she is then chloroformed by Piglet and Winnie.
Yeah.
And
just instantly chloroformed. Yeah.
Yeah. So Piglet's choice of weapon is a sledgehammer in the movie.
Well, not just. So it cuts to her waking up. Yeah.
Yeah, so basically throughout the movie he uses like sledgehammers and chains. She's tied up, and somehow they manage to get a car.
Not just any car. One of the... Actually, yeah, the girl's car. Somehow they got their car and keys.
Was it? Because she was like... Because one of the girls was like, oh, whose car is that? Like...
Did they?
Yeah. Yeah, they're like, whose car is that? Like, how did that get here?
I guess they have cars then, yeah.
Yeah, they somehow have cars. These are supposed to be depictions of imaginary animals that Christopher Robin had as friends as a child. And somehow they got a car.
I mean, I guess they found enough money to get like a, down payment.
They must have really good credit because that was like a muscle car they had, right?
It was a pretty decent looking car, yeah.
Yeah. So they like tie her up. She's on the ground. She wakes up, and then he drags the sledgehammer over to her.
Yeah, and then stands on top of. I thought he was gonna bust her head in. Yeah.
I thought he was gonna go golfing with her head for a second. Kind of get a hole in one with her noggin. But no.
Yeah.
He kind of just stands there and lets Winnie crush her head with a tire. Which was,
and
I was like, okay.
The effect actually looked pretty good. Yeah, it's like yeah. I'll give the movie brownie points for that. That was pretty decent.
I am not a huge fan of gore. Like,
I'm not either, but it looked decent at time. Like that's where the CGI budget went on just that one thing.
Yeah, I was like, oh, so that's where like 25 of the 50 grand went to. Was her getting squished by a car. And they couldn't use it on props, special effects, or the costumes. They used it on her getting squished.
Yeah. But then after she dies, it cuts to the house, and two of the characters are like, "Did you hear?" I think her name is Jessica, right?
I think so. Which character are you talking about?
The girl who just died.
The girl who just died was Alice.
Okay, yeah, they're like, did you hear that? Was that Alice? So they somehow
it sounds like Alice.
Also, how did they know that was? I guess they knew it was her scream.
I don't know how they couldn't hear the
car,
the chaos going on outside. I would have heard it.
They think they would hear them like scream
in the hot tub
beforehand.
Like the struggle in the hot tub, like I would think you'd hear it.
them dragging her, Winnie the Pooh and Piglet dragging her to the parking, area,
Yeah.
and also the car turning on and whatnot.
Yeah, I
Like
think
the headlights.
I think at least like me personally knowing me, I would have noticed it and I would have been like, oh, what the fuck? It's kind of weird. And I went to go take a look at it.
Who's in our driveway?
There's someone in our driveway.
What do I hear screaming? Yeah.
Just awful.
Yeah, and that's when the movie starts picking up a bit, Honestly, it was going pretty fast already, the pacing.
Did we talk about how the lesbian couples were having like an issue? One person was like, "Oh, I love you," and she's like, "Now's not the time. I think we're moving too fast," even though they're basically going to sleep in a bed together.
I don't remember that.
That was one of the things. It brings me. It brings me to the next part. So like, they find a gun, but it's not just your standard pistol. Like, what would be a standard pistol to keep in your house? I'm not a gun guy,
Glock.
so I don't really know.
Well, like a Glock.
Yeah, they
Like
find
a 9mm 45. So like, yeah.
They find a revolver, and we'll come back. We'll come back to the revolver after this.
It looks like a beefy revolver too. Kind of looks like a 44.
Yeah, but we'll come back to the revolver after this because this pissed me off in the movie. But we'll come back to it. I want to save my anger.
So
don't spoil it right now. But like,
no. I'm just gonna say something. Right after they hear the screams and they're like, "Oh shit!" and they run out and find Jessica dead. And you think, okay, what would be the human response to be? We find out your friend just had their skull crushed in.
it would be to call 911 and get the fuck out.
No, it'd be to fucking kill the bitch.
I would have called 911 and left.
So yeah, their reaction isn't to call 911, like get their phones back and call 911. That doesn't even cross their mind.
Yeah, it's like,
Everyone
oh, we gotta
knew-
fight back. Like, why?
Yeah, they all unanimously agree to fight back.
Your
Not to
friend.
call 911. They're just like, we gotta fight back. All of them just agree. It's like,
Yeah,
yep.
it's just like your friend just got brutally murdered. Also, spoiler alert, everyone dies. So there was no point in fighting back.
It would make a bit more sense if one or two of them were like, no, we gotta stop him, blah blah. Maybe it'd be it'd be more interesting if one of the kids was like, no, we gotta get out of here. But it had a bit of conflict to the story.
Yeah, have some confrontation between them. Don't just all like
Yeah.
unanimously agree, let's fuck this guy up. Even though that is a really cool concept, but they all died in the end. So it was a waste of a moment.
The thing is, they could have all easily got their phones and maybe tried calling. They didn't even try to call 911.
No, they
at
didn't.
all.
They didn't even use their phones once.
Yeah. Like their phones were confiscated, and I guess the woman who confiscated them threw them out.
No,
We
they're
never see them again.
they're in a drawer.
And if the drawer exists. So that one girl, the OnlyFans girl who just died.
Yeah, the OnlyFans girl who just got brutally murdered. So they're going through this house. They're all being hunted. Winnie's
They're
out.
looking for weapons at this
Oh
point.
yeah. The girls got a hammer, like one of those like they didn't get a sledgehammer. They just got a regular sized hammer.
Yeah.
Which I mean,
another one gets like a bat, right?
and then a really weird kitchen knife. The kitchen knife kind of looked like a dagger, or like a kunai. It didn't really look like a kitchen knife.
I need to try and remember it.
It was like this. It kind of looked like a.
double-sided?
No, it was literally just like this weird spirit Halloween prop that they had. Hold on, let me see if I can find it really quick.
But yeah. Anyways, one of the girls is like, I have a gun. So it's like, okay, so one of them has a firearm, which brings up the question: is like, okay, so I'm assuming this story takes place in Britain because everyone's speaking with an British accent.
Oh yeah, this was like all in the UK.
Yeah, well, that makes raises the question like, okay, how'd they get the gun? Because I know laws, from what I know in Britain, like you have to have a hunting license.
I don't exactly know how they got that.
Yeah, that's the thing. I can't comment too much on it because I'm not super familiar. But it's like, okay,
It was just
I'm assuming they maybe they do have a hunting license, but I feel like that'd be for hunting rifle and not something like a revolver.
Yeah, it was
Oh no, maybe.
it was just in a drawer under a bunch of clothes, which they never I didn't even know it was there. Like they didn't show that it was there. They just kind of went over there and pulled it out.
Yeah, well, the gun being there is set up right then.
Yeah, they could have been like, "Oh, I got this like for self-defense." Which
Oh, yeah,
I
they
mean,
could set where one of the girls like maybe they like find like a gun case and it's like, what the hell is that for? And it's like, just in case. You never know.
yeah, but it was set in it was set in the UK, so I don't know how that lore would fit in. I don't know the gun laws over there.
Yeah. Well, I think you have to have a
Excuse
hunting
me.
license to be able to own a gun. And there's different like classifications, but I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah. So then we get. So this is why I brought up the lesbian couple, right?
Yeah.
We get to the pool scene, that dreaded pool scene.
Wait, a little bit before that, I think I remember there being a scene where like Piglet breaks like a window or something like that, but he doesn't go in the house and they're still circling it.
I don't know. I don't really remember that.
I don't remember too well either. I think this is more like my brain was just seeing mush from the movie.
Yeah. So there's the pool. The pool scene
Yeah.
was ridiculous. So the two were in there, and I thought they were gonna have a touching moment. She was like, "Wait, if anything happens, just know that I love you." Yeah, all this mushy gushy bullshit.
Oh,
And she,
I remember that. Yeah, I thought that was just girls being girls. I didn't know that was actual role.
no, there was actual like romance between them.
Okay.
And she was like, "Oh wow, I love you too." And then Piglet comes in and like cracks her on the head with his sledgehammer.
Yeah,
or
she
something.
fucking falls on. Yeah, another one jumps in the pool.
She doesn't jump in the pool. She falls
Or she
backwards
falls.
into the pool. She falls
Yeah.
backwards, and as like Piglet's just kind of sitting there. I think I think the actor forgot what he was supposed to do.
I think the actress also forgot what she was supposed to do. The one in the pool, because they kind of
Yeah.
just look at each other and like she's just like,
He just kinda-
no, and Piglet's just like looking at her like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
Are
he
you,
just
trying to
kind of
stop
sits
me
there
or
like
run
he's.
away?
Yeah, he just kind of sits there and is like confused, and he kind of walks back and forth. And it looks like at one moment, it looks like he's gonna go over to the girl and like kill her. And I'm just like, oh, cool. But Piglet's doing something smart,
This is like,
right?
yeah, it's some bad suspense, but yeah.
But no,
I
he-
mean, similar to
he-
Christopher Robin, where yeah, like they don't know, like the character, like the girl in the pool, like Christopher Robin, it's like they don't know to either run away or fucking stop him. They just kind of just stand there being like, no.
Well, yeah, but like,
Don't do that.
it just brings me to like another point for the pool thing. I've been really wanting to talk about the pool thing because I thought it was just so ridiculous.
Oh, that's silly.
They basically go back and forth like two magnets pushing against each other. Like Piglet would step back and then she'd swim forward, and then Piglet would step forward and she'd swim backwards. And then at one point, it looks like he's going to kill the girl who's unconscious on the ground, but no, he just like gets in the pool. He steps towards her, steps over her, and then he gets in the pool, and it makes absolutely no sense. Oh wait,
Yeah.
not even before that. He
no.
gets his chains and he's just smacking the water with the chains.
Yeah, and it's so. I mean, it's kind of silly, but yeah.
And it doesn't even look like he was smacking the chains hard. He was just doing it really softly into the water, as if he's like, I really don't want to hurt her, but I have to do this for the shot.
Yeah. Yeah.
And,
then he gets in the pool. And by the way, this is a long pool. It's very long.
It's a very
but
long
narrow.
rectangular pool.
It's long but narrow. And Piglet gets in it long ways while the girl's in the middle of it. And he starts wading over towards her, and she's like swimming away, but she goes straight down the middle of the pool. She doesn't think about going to the left or right and getting out quickly. Like she's
Yeah.
just like, oh no!
Chris
Really
Cordell.
reminds.
Chris Cordell is
What do
Chris Cordell, the man who plays Piglet. He's a tall motherfucker. He's just standing and she's swimming.
I know, but like I said, it's so silly that she doesn't think of like getting out of the pool where she'll be faster.
Yeah, she could have got
It
over
reminds me
to.
a lot of. It reminds me of that scene from Alien. Not Alien Covenant. Prometheus, where there's like a thing barreling after them, like a spaceship, I think. And it's instead of just running to like they're spiraling after them in the open field, so they can literally just run left or right and they'll dodge it.
Oh yeah, they just run forward. I remember that
They
scene.
run forward, trying to yeah. It reminds me of that, where it's just like just go left or right.
Yeah, just like dodge out of the way. Maybe duck down or something. I don't know.
Well, with her, she's swimming in the pool, so
Yeah,
it's like,
she's just
go
swimming in the
you'll be
pool.
faster.
Yeah, she's just swimming in the pool, and then he gets his sledgehammer and he's just smacking it in the water.
Yeah, and eventually he gets her, and she's dead.
Yeah, they reuse that same scene multiple times. That's just the same smashing it in the water and him walking. They reuse that shot multiple times until at the very end, where you can clearly see the sledgehammer did not make any contact with her. She kind of just boom, and she's dead in the pool, and there's like this massive hole in the back of her head now.
Yeah.
And then the other lesbian lover, she wakes up and she's like, "Oh my!" This was actually kind of funny. She was like, "Oh my god!" and she passes back out. I thought those. Yeah, I thought that was fucking hilarious.
God, that was fucking silly, man.
Yeah, so
they drag her away, right?
yeah, Piglet dragged her away, and they're heading back to camp now.
Even though he's about to kill her, yeah.
Yeah, I think they're just trying to take her to eat her or something. Cause like they tied her up at their camp.
Maybe I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. They're doing it, to like torture and fuck with them.
Yeah.
You know.
So it's the nerdy girl Jessica, and it's Maria who's left.
Yeah. Then,
The other lesbian chick is still alive. I don't know the actress's name, and I don't know who played her, but she's still alive, and they follow them back to their camp.
how do they follow him though? Because they don't know where. I don't think they knew where the hell they went.
No, they followed them from the house. Like they caught them. They snuck behind them.
Oh, okay. I didn't
Yeah, they rolled a nat 20 on stealth. Because even Piglet, when he was like, "Hey, turn around and look and see if there's anyone following us," and yeah, he just kind of does this little pivot, and he looks around, and then he snorts, and they continue. So they follow him back to the camp, and we're nearing the end of the movie at this point.
Yeah.
So they find.
They managed to go to their encampment, and they find Christopher Robin, who's still alive.
Well, well, hold on. They find a whole bunch of people. So they find Charlene, they find their friend, and they find Christopher Robin. I don't exactly know which order they find them in, but they find Chris first, and then they get him down, and he immediately falls to his knees and starts coughing, which I don't know why he would start coughing.
Maybe he's so weak.
I guess. And he was like, she was like, "Oh, we're gonna try and save you. Come on." And he's like, "No, just go without me. Leave me here." And it was like, "But she was like, "Well, we just got you down. You gotta get out of here." And he was like, "No, just go." And they're all screaming and shit. And I'll be like,
and they're like, "Okay."
Yeah, they're like, okay, we'll meet up with you. You meet up with us again, all right? And yeah, they kind of just take off.
And they find their other friend, who is she looks like she's like kind of like prepared for a sacrifice.
Yeah, so they find the lesbian lady who's taken.
Yeah,
and
her face all fucked up and shit.
No,
she's covering ketchup.
No, she was fine. It was the lesbian lady who was taken by Piglet at first. They find her, they untie her, and then they find Danielle Scout, who played Charlene, who's the fucked up lady. And when they did that, when they took her, they came across a mirror, and Chanel saw like.
Before they do that though, as they're tying her down, for a reason they're like, she does like a big expo dump where it's like, oh, they hate humans, they tell us what we already know.
Oh, yeah. So she was like,
they hate humans because they've been, because Christopher banned them, and they broke their vows silent, and it's like, it adds nothing to the movie.
Oh yeah, it was just another big expo dome. She was like, oh, it's Winnie and Piglet, and they're like, what? And they're like, that's what they call themselves in like broken English. It was like Winnie told me that's who they call themselves, and
they took a vow of silence.
they took a vow of silence and they broke it. I'm just like, okay, this is getting kind of goofy, kind of silly.
Yeah, because you set a rule and then you break it, so it's like, okay.
Yeah. Then they come up to the
You
mirror.
literally put that in. Yeah, it's like at the very beginning of the expo dump, and you broke, you broke your rule.
Yeah, you broke your own rule. And I know some rules are meant to be broken to like make it good in Hollywood, but like, come on, come on, man.
But yeah, anyways, after that, she like finds like a nearby mirror. And
she
she's
finds
like,
a mirror, and she's like,
face. Oh.
Which for some reason our main character Maria decides to set down her revolver, which gets me to the most irritating part in the entire movie for me.
Silly.
So she's like, I kind of want to tell it. Because like it's so fucking goofy and it made me so mad. And this is the part of the movie that just fucking drained me afterwards.
Oh yeah, it's the dumbest part. It's the dumbest part.
She was like, I'm not gonna stop until he's dead, and she steals their only way of defense, and she goes and she starts shouting for Piglet. She was like, Piglet,
and then she like fires off a warning shot.
Yeah, she fires off a shot into the air.
Yeah.
And she's like, you did this to me, and they're having like this weird Mexican Western standoff, and she's like, I'm gonna make you pay for what you did to me. And she fires and it's a blank. They only had one fucking bullet in the gun.
No, she didn't. No. Fucking, she tries to fire and it doesn't because the gun's out of ammo.
Yeah. They only had one fucking bullet in the gun. Are you kidding me?
Which makes no sense.
It's a home defense weapon.
Yeah, because it's not like if they just found it. At least it's not implied. It's implied that one of the characters brought it as a self-defense weapon.
Yeah, what the fuck is one bullet going to do? What if you miss? You're out of ammo.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, like, it's like one of those things where it's like, if you're getting like a weapon self-defense, why are you gonna carry only one bullet on you?
I'd fill the whole fucker up. I'd fill the whole chamber.
Oh yeah, I could see maybe them having like 5 bullets, just in case like an accidental like trigger pull or something like that with a revolver.
Oh yeah, have a safety blanker in there, right? Like have the safety empty chamber, whatever. But like, one bullet? Like, are you kidding me?
But like the entire revolver, like 6 cylinders, there's just one bullet in there.
Yeah,
it's like bringing a fucking Glock like as a self-defense weapon and just having the bullet in the chamber and no magazine in. Be like, yep, I only need one.
Yeah, it's just like okay, so let's say if you manage to shoot that target, well, they're still gonna be up and moving around unless you get them directly in the noggin, right?
Well, I'll say this: it was a fucking revolver, so it's probably like 357 or 44, so that's gonna hurt.
Yeah, but she shot it up in the air and she did damage to the ozone and whatever the bullet landed on afterwards.
Yeah, but I think in real life though, I think most like gun altercations, usually around 5 bullets are fired from like each side, on average, or it was like 3. So.
Yeah. We also forgot to mention that the chick who got kidnapped from the pool, she got bitch slapped by Piglet.
Oh yeah, it just dies.
Yeah, well, she doesn't die. She just gets knocked out, I guess, but she was already knocked out to begin with. Yeah, it's just... Oh my god, it's just the one bullet really makes me upset.
Yeah, and the thing is when she takes the gun too, like, they don't stop or anything, you're just like, oh, there she goes.
Like, I would have been like, hey, wait, no, give me that back, that's our defense. And she's she just didn't say anything.
Yeah, they just like watch her be like fucking fire off the one bullet they had. And
it's killed. Like, oh, well, I guess it's it. And so she gets her ass beat by Piglet. I'm pretty sure. Oh, it was Piglet and Winnie. They kind of double teamed her. So like, Winnie just like smacked her onto the ground, and then Piglet started eating her alive. which
Oh yeah.
it was probably one of the most, because like I felt that this was one of the most brutal scenes in the entire movie. I was like, oh, she went after revenge, but like, you know, she failed. I was like, oh, that's pretty good actually. That was one of the scenes that made me uneasy, as when she's being eaten alive. They didn't really kill her right off the bat. They just kind of.
So the scene before that was so goofy would have soured it, you know.
Yeah.
You know what's really scary? If she fucking, you know.
If she fired
she
at
had
him
trouble-
and she hit him, and he didn't go
he
down.
kept on walking. Yeah, he kept on walking. She has a shaky hand, you know, as Piglet's approaching. Bang! Misses. Bang! Misses again. Bang! Hits him. Bang! Hits him again.
Well, calm down, calm down. You're acting like they have a budget for more than one bullet.
Sure. Then click. Click. Click.
Yeah.
That would have been way more interesting.
Way more suspenseful, way more impactful, but no, she shoots it up in the air, and as soon as she shot it up in the air, I was immediately like, oh my god,
What?
that's her only
What are you
bullet.
doing? I called it too. I was like thinking to myself, like, the bullet gun's not gonna have no bullets in it.
Yeah, the gun's gonna have absolutely no bullets in it. This is just a prop. Oh, it gets me so irritated. And then what's next? Oh yeah, we get them running through the woods.
And then
And
they
there's
have, like, a
that
really goofy
car.
hiding spot.
It wasn't really a good hiding spot. Oh wait, no,
Oh, yeah,
we're
also,
missing a fact. Missing the fact of the matter is that the three of them were hiding behind a box. Yeah. Oh.
Yep. So you're gonna have to cut that out.
Oh no, it's fine. It's fine. We'll leave it in. So like we see them, we see the three of them hiding behind a box, and they're just watching her get eaten alive. They don't try to distract him or anything. And then
I mean, I could see that being a thing. You know, they're all immediately first thing they were like, you know, let's kill him.
yeah, and then Mariah and Jessica run off, and the lesbian lady, she kind of stays behind, and then she kills Piglet.
Oh yeah.
She knocks him out somehow. I can't remember exactly how. She knocks him out, ties him up, and then smashes his head with a sledgehammer.
I remember this. This is so silly. It took me a minute. God, dude, I don't know how I'm already forgetting about this movie. That's how forgettable it is. But somehow she's able to knock out Piglet and tie him up, like do a whole elaborate tie-up thing, like drag him and tie him up, and able to kill him all within like earshot of Winnie the Pooh.
Yeah, well, you also forgot her monologue.
Oh yeah,
she monologued a little bit.
Yeah, but like, it's all within earshot of Winnie the Pooh, and
I don't think it was an earshot because Winnie was chasing the two girls through the woods at this time.
no, Winnie hears Piglet die.
Well, yeah, and then he runs back, and then he
so
chokes
then
her out.
Yeah, and then he chokes her out, but it's like, I don't know, it's just so silly.
And then we get to the vehicle portion. We get to the car part, another car part.
Yeah, they run onto the road, and there's a car that's not moving.
Not moving. It's not coming towards them. And then she was like, "Oh, hey, look, a car!"
as they
And then it
approach it-
immediately starts moving.
Yeah. It's like,
Oh,
all right, guys,
man.
we're at scene. Let's start moving.
I was like, "Oh my god, that's our cue." Put it in gear, drive a little bit, and hit the funny shit.
They're all rednecks.
They're
Just come
all
out.
rednecks. Winnie the Pooh
Like,
gets
very
fucked up by a
stereotypical.
bunch of rednecks, and he was like, you gon', you know,
You can't bully this girl like that.
you
do
can't,
that.
you gonna get some payback for bullying them there girls like that. I'm gonna beat your ass,
And
Pooh
Winnie the
Bear.
Pooh just he just walks up and just like takes their like being like a gang initiation. He just fucking eats it.
And then
Like
he
he's getting hit
gets,
by like crowbar, like glass bottle, and like a sledgehammer too, I think.
yeah, he got beat by a bunch of shit. A glass bottle, and he grows bigger.
Yeah, he's like 12 feet tall now, for whatever reason.
And then he mutilates everybody. I think the first one was a bitch slap, and he bitch slaps the side of this guy's face off. and he
Yeah, it was. And the thing is, though, the crazy thing is, like, they all keep attacking Pooh as they're getting slaughtered. The last guy, like, all three of his friends just got fucking, either their, like, arm ripped off, their face ripped off, you know, and he's like, nah, I'll win.
Here's the funniest part. This made me giggle during the movie. The first guy who got slapped by Pooh, half of his face got torn off, and he literally runs over to the side of the truck, and he's like, oh my god, and then he turns his face directly, like, so the camera can see it, and he's still just kind of sitting there, like, clawing at the window, trying to show off that, like, you know, his face is gone, and then he just dies.
You fucked up my face.
It was so, like, it looked like he didn't practice it, and he was just like, all right, we gotta do this. We got this.
Yeah, but it was very silly. And then what happens after that?
Oh, they take off in the truck. They take off in the truck, and they see
rednecks just standing around. I'm like, thing.
Yeah, rednecks were just sitting around. They got slaughtered by Pooh. Then they take off. They steal the truck. They take off.
Well, they did the classic thing of where it's like, oh no, the engine not starting. You know, it's stalling.
Yeah.
And, you know, they instead of like backing off, they just decide to run Pooh over. You know, like they're terrified of him.
Yeah. And then
you know, they just saw Pooh literally fucking eat a sledgehammer to the face and not give a shit.
And then Pooh climbs onto the truck, tries to get inside, and they step on the brakes, and they crash into nothing.
Another fun part too is they had a pretty good crash.
But they crashed into nothing.
Yeah, but another detail too is like they got pretty hurt. Looks like they looked like they were going pretty like a decent speed. Which really brings up the question:
what did they wreck into?
I don't know, but like they looked like they were going pretty fast when they wrecked. Because, like, for what reason, did you notice this? Whenever they crash, there's no airbags or anything.
Yeah. Yeah, but, like, it still brings up my point. What did they crash into? Because in order to do that much of a mess to her face, they wouldn't be in the middle of a road. They'd be, like, in front of a tree or something. Because she was, like, she was dazed. She hit something and they were dazed. And then all of a sudden, Pooh rips out Jessica. And then, what did she rip her head off or something and then throw it at the truck?
No, here's what happened. Fucking for a reason, Pooh grabs her friend, starts dragging her way to, like, kind of far away to the, like 50 feet away. And then just, like, rips her head off and, like, shows it like fucking Predator.
Yeah.
And then just fucking yeets it at the truck. And then he starts walking back towards her.
It's kind of what I just said.
Yeah, I know. It's kind of silly how he walks away just to rip her head off and then walks back to the truck.
I guess he kind of wanted her to see it, and then
yeah. But then for what reasons, like somehow after that, Chris finds her.
Yeah, here comes Christopher Robin going full speed and just fucking sandwiches Winnie the Pooh in between two pickup trucks.
We don't know. We don't know how he got caught. We don't know how he even found them.
Yeah, the last time we saw Chris was at the shack where they freed him.
Yeah.
We didn't have any updates. They didn't show him doing anything. All we know is that he got far enough away to find a car, and then he stole that car and then crashed into Winnie.
Yep.
Just so Winnie could easily move the vehicles while they were on fire, mind you. He moved the vehicles aside like it was fucking nothing. Like, that's a strong ass fucking bear.
Is that it was shown that he was scared of fire because they're like waving a torch at him. He kind of flinched a bit and stuff, you know.
Yeah.
So it's like, is he weak to fire? But he didn't give a shit here.
Yeah, it's like, what the fuck? Like, okay, so Winnie the Pooh is now this juggernaut that has no weaknesses, and then Chris is like, you know, begging Winnie at this time. He's back to crying like a bitch. And he's like,
he like grabs the girl. Yeah.
Yeah, he's like, no, Pooh, please, no, Pooh.
I'll stay with you, Pooh.
I'll stay with you. Just take me. And then Pooh's like, you left.
Who's actually pretty smart. Is like,
Yeah.
who's pretty smart knows that Chris has literally nothing to bargain with.
Yeah, he was like, you left, and he repeatedly stabs the girl in the chest and then goes to kill Chris.
Yeah.
And like, well, no, here's the thing. Like, he slits her throat, and then they have like this weird, like,
oh yeah, they're like
lovey-dovey moment.
Yeah, he's nice enough to let Chris free.
Well, it's like,
very nice.
Chris didn't even know this chick, and they're rubbing noses and shit. He's holding her face like she is like.
They exchange like 4 sentences together.
4 sentences isn't enough to build a relationship. I'm pretty sure they were
Chaz,
about to kiss.
Chaz, are you saying mute people can't find love?
What? You have to talk to someone for a while, my guy.
Oh my! Look at this fucking dude.
There was all I'm saying.
Oh, it was silly. Yeah.
All I'm saying is that
oh, no, man, you just met her.
Yeah, I was gonna say if they wanted to do that, they needed to build more of a character with him. Yeah, there was nothing there. It was just out of nowhere, and I was like, wait a minute, are they gonna kiss or something? They literally just met. They legit just met, and he probably smells like shit.
Yeah, he hasn't showered in like.
He hasn't showered in months. Yeah.
Oh, except for in blood. Yeah, blood.
Yeah. He probably smells like fucking salty milk and coins.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
like pennies.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there. And then Pooh just, he just kills him too. So every person here fucking dies. Everyone dies. The entire cast, they're dead. Chris Cornell, he's dead. Piglet, he's dead.
Only the survivors too.
Yeah. The survivors, like everyone, they died. Everyone died. Everyone's dead.
I'm not entirely against that, but it's just the movie's just so bad. And like you don't care about anyone.
Yeah, I couldn't get attached to anyone. And the person I was really looking forward to get attached to was Christopher Robin, because he's the
closest character to having development. He's the closest.
But
he doesn't even have any arc or anything.
No, we didn't get to see any character build up. Mariah, I was kind of interested in seeing her character as well. Alice, I mean, they could have done something with her, but they didn't.
Honestly, the only character I think that had the closest thing to like, not even development, but just characterization is OnlyFans girl. She takes pictures of herself in bikinis. Main character, she was nearly sexually assaulted and has trauma from it. Okay. Christopher, who was friends with Pooh, but then left him.
And then Eeyore.
And then Eeyore, yeah. And Winnie the Pooh, who is sad that Chris left and feels betrayed. That's the characterization of the story. I think
Pooh had a bigger story development.
I'm gonna say Pooh was really the only character in the story.
Yeah, he was the only one who actually like had a reason to do what he was doing.
He's the only one who had like he was the only character with agency and who had his own motives and with the most complexity. Yeah.
Yeah, because
because he cried for Chris at one point, I think.
Yeah, he cried for Chris, and then he went over and he started beating Chris. So there was kind of mixed emotions, which is another thing I wanted to talk about. The emotions from this movie were just all over the place, and it was so confusing at times. Yeah. It was just like, okay, how am I supposed to feel in this moment? I can't really, I couldn't really get a grasp of,
am I supposed to laugh?
Each emotion.
Am I supposed to be scared? Yeah.
Yeah, because I couldn't get it. All comes back down to like character development. I couldn't get attached to these characters, therefore I couldn't really understand what I was supposed to be feeling in this moment in time.
I think that's also a problem with the pacing too. The movie went too fast in the middle and too slow. Well, it wasn't. The movie had a pacing problem. Like the gas station scene, some scenes were redundant, and you could replace with scenes of character building.
Yeah, the whole gas station
was pointless.
Yeah, the gas station scene was
character building.
Yeah, it was just the forest scene where the girl was just like, killed in the wood chipper. That was kind of pointless. Like, we really didn't need that. I think that was just added there for shock value.
If that was removed, nothing would have changed.
Yeah. There's some
the first exposition
reporters.
dump. That I don't think that was really needed. You could have explained it in a different way, while being more efficient.
Yeah, there are some reporters here in the cast. There's Reporter 1, Reporter 2, and Reporter 3, which Nicole Wright, Richard Harfist, and then Bautio or whatever. I can't pronounce that name. We didn't really get to see these guys either, though I'm pretty sure it was like just that news. It was probably that news article from the beginning of the movie.
It was probably just them narrating that, yeah.
Otherwise, there's a lot of like problems that I hope they fixed in the second movie when we watch it, because we will watch
a lot of
the next movie.
Stuff that never pays off, like
Yeah.
what happened to the phones? Why do they never try calling 911 or getting their phones? You know, stuff like that.
Yeah, it's just, I
Why
mean,
did the gun have one bullet in it?
yeah, I mean, and in the end,
How
like,
did
it
Chris-
doesn't.
How did Chris find the girl at the end? How did he get that vehicle?
Yeah, I mean, I guess at the end, it really doesn't matter now. They're all dead. Like, every single one of them are dead. Winnie the Pooh has a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, or not 10. What was it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. He has a 13-man kill streak. He killed 13 people in one night. Or, well, a day, basically.
Yeah, but that doesn't really matter how much when it...
Well, yeah, if I can't get attached to the characters, then why should I care if they die?
Yeah.
Give me a reason to care, damn it.
I'm gonna side again, but that's because this is just a classic, and I think it's just kind of a guidebook for what probably most horror movie makers should do. Is like Alien. I think there's only 5 characters in there. Only 4 people die.
Was the main character lives or something?
Oh, have you never seen Alien?
Nope.
You got it. You gotta see Alien.
We'll do a movie review on Alien. How about that?
I won't spoil anything. Yeah, you will.
Okay.
That's a promise. Alien is such a good movie.
So,
It's
anyways,
a bit slow at first, but it's like that for a reason.
all right, let's start to wrap this up here, because I'm kind of hungry and I want to go get some dinner. Overall, Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. Have my opinions changed from the very beginning of the episode? Not really. I mean, my score went from a 3.5 to maybe a 2. Just because, like, remembering the gun scene really, like, pissed me off.
Yeah. I'll still give it. I'll still give it a 3. Because 3 to me is just bad. Right, 4 is subpar. Thing is, like, the movie is kind of funny in some ways, like, you know, unintentionally in some parts, but it's not funny enough where it makes it good or anything.
I think another question we gotta ask is, does this count as a horror movie? Because it wasn't really scary. It was just gory.
It was just, yeah. I think it tried to be a horror movie, but it fell on its face because it didn't feel like a parody. It didn't feel like a thriller movie, not at all.
No, it wasn't really doing anything but just kind of grossing me out with the gore.
It felt like the movie was like, all right, we had to have the beats of the horror movie. Scary gas station, check. Bunch of girls, boobs, check.
I think, to be
nest,
honest,
check.
if I'm being real, the tits and the sexual appeal was not needed in this movie. I think if you left all that out, it would have been exactly the same.
Yeah. It would have. Honestly, it would have made more sense if the OnlyFans girl actually ended up living and was the one who had her face like scarred. That would have actually added a bit more depth to the character.
It would have been tragic. It It would have been like, oh, she had such a beautiful face, and now it's been mutilated.
Yeah, it would be one of those things where it's like, okay, you understand a bit more why this character is so distraught.
Yeah.
Adds a bit more characterization, but you know, she just dies. You know.
Was this funny? I mean, there was some moments in this that was funny. I giggled at some parts. But calling it a horror movie, I wouldn't call it a horror movie.
I don't think it's a horror movie. I don't think it's a horror parody. It's just a movie.
Yeah, it's just I think it's a gore flick.
It's a motion picture.
It's something. It's something.
A motion picture. It's a bunch of frames, pictures moving at 24 frames a second.
Will I watch this again? I think we can also have this as like a rewatchability. Would I ever watch this again? Probably not. Do I regret buying it and spending $9 on Vudu to get it? Yes, I regret that. I could have saved money by going on like 1, 2, 3 movies and pirating it.
Oh, you're probably gonna have to cut that out.
Nah.
Fucking Weeball. Honestly, for me, it has a. If you're with friends, and if you got alcohol, I'd say play this movie.
Oh yeah,
if you're next day, regardless of alcohol, because it's that bad.
Yeah, if you're drunk as shit, if you're like drunk off your rocker.
If you're drunk with a group of friends, I think this is actually a pretty okay movie.
I don't think you can make a drinking game out of it like you can with Twilight.
I think it can for just bad horror tropes.
But there wasn't really any horror tropes in it, aside from like titties and then the just brutal murder of like.
If you have like a horror trope where it's like,
people,
you know, take a shot every time a character says something dumb, you know, or take a shot for every time a character dies in a dumb way.
I guess.
Drunk. It won't kill you, but you'll.
No, it won't kill you, but you won't be that drunk. Now, if we were to do a movie review on Twilight, I think we, you know, I mean, we tried to play a drinking game from that movie, and we got pissed drunk off of like the first 30 minutes of the movie.
Well, I think that's because one of the things was what every time she bites her lip, like that alone was like Bella bites her lip. I think that alone was enough to get us like wasted.
You know what? If this gets like 20 or 200 likes or whatever, we'll watch the entire series.
5 likes.
5 likes, and we'll do a review on the series. And we won't have alcohol to intoxicate ourselves. We'll just suffer.
Okay, I was very scared.
What?
I was saying I might be needing a retina real soon.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that does it for this episode of Cryptic Corner.
Yeah. Thanks for watching this far.
Yeah, if you managed to get this far, thanks for watching. Go ahead, leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Tell us which movie or which story you'd like us to review and look over next. The Cryptic Corner might be moving from Ghostbox Studios to a new channel in the near future, so be on the lookout for that. But that just about does it for this episode, I think.
Oh yeah, man.
Yeah, Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey, 2 out of 10.
3 out of 10.
Do you have anything you'd like to say before I end this and we can go on about our night?
Dude, it's a movie.
Yeah, it's a movie. Yeah, it's a movie. All right. Good night, everyone. Hey, stay spooky.
Bye-bye.